analyzing the moves nobody else is brave enough to see. By bypassing physical checkpoints with the maglev vein and energy islands, we don't just protect our energy, we disarm the threat of blockades entirely. This is not just about surviving a war, it is about making the war obsolete before it even begins. The true path to peace is not surrendering, it is geographic immunity. Hello everyone. We have to see the decapitation reality of March 2026. The supreme leader is gone, Operation Epic Fury is in full swing, and the world is waiting for a world war. Everyone is talking about ceasefire. Are you living in the old era? Can't you see what is going on? We are in the March 2026. The head of the snake is gone. वहां पर इमीडिएटली इंटरनल स्टेबिलिटी लाने की जरूरत है. इसलिए हमें सोचना होगा कि कैसे हम प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं वर्ल्ड वॉर 3 को. और उसी के लिए है आज का ये स्ट्रैटेजिक ब्लूप्रिंट फॉर मिलिट्री लेड स्टेबलाइजेशन एंड न्यूक्लियर कंटेनमेंट. Stabilizing the March 2026 power vacuum demands a radical realignment. So, let us see the military-led framework to prevent World War III. Operation Epic Fury has triggered a critical decapitation reality across the region. There is a leadership void. Senior command structures functionally dismantled. There is a trigger warning. We have to hear that. Right? People are preparing for unrestricted retaliation. Globe is at stake. A total war scenario is imminent unless internal stabilization is achieved immediately. Survival requires prioritizing military stability over romanticized revolutions. Why I am saying so? आपको क्या लगता है कि ये प्रोटेस्टर्स रिजीम चेंज कर सकते हैं? प्रोटेस्टर्स के पास क्या है? क्या उनके पास एक मिलिट्री पावर है? क्या उनके पास अभी एक ऐसा लीडर है जो उन्हें लीड करके उस वैक्यूम को खत्म कर सके? Expecting them to form a government or holding out for diplomatic treaties guarantees a multi-sided civil war. What is the need of the hour? A disciplined, military-led stabilization strategy that is the singular path to halt regional escalation within 24 hours. Okay? Traditional diplomacy and civilian uprisings are fatal miscalculations. It is a diplomatic illusion, it is a democratic illusion. Relying on a new nuclear deal or popular protest is a lethal strategic miscalculation, I repeat. So what is the solution? Solution is the new geopolitics framework, which neutralizes the crisis through a 3-pillar realpolitik strategy. What are these pillars? Pillar 1, the secular military pivot, the Artish coup. Pillar 2, global energy, the Hormuz gambit. Pillar 3, neutral arbiter custodianship, the third party lock. What is the root of the escalation? The IRGC, Revolutionary Guard. They will fight to the death for the coast. They will start World War III without thinking how it can harm the whole world. It's a serious concern, a reality check. The IRGC operates as a deeply entrenched economic conglomerate willing to trigger a global conflict. They have heavy industry, they have port authorities, they have financial institutions, they have energy grids. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is not merely a military or religious force. It is an economic monolith holding vast structural control over Iran's industrial and financial sectors. So, to stabilize the state requires dismantling this deeply entrenched corporate mafia, which controls 40% of the Iranian economy. A secular transition demands the Artish defeat them militarily while simultaneously dismantling this corporate mafia to prevent Syrianization. Okay? Artish is a professional nationalist military. Conventional army. Artish एक फारसी शब्द है जिसका मतलब होता है सेना. ये ईरान की रेगुलर आर्मी है जिसमें भी आर्मी, एयरफोर्स और नेवी तीनों अंग हैं. टास्क्ड विद प्रोटेक्टिंग इरानियन सॉइल एंड बॉर्डर्स. वो आज भी अपनी इरानियन सॉइल को बचाने की पूरी कोशिश करेंगे. वो रिवॉल्यूशनिस्ट के साथ नहीं हैं. वो शांति चाहते हैं, वो फ्रीडम चाहते हैं. वो एक डेमोक्रेसी चाहते हैं, जबकि IRGC वो इस्लामिक रिवॉल्यूशन को प्रोटेक्ट करना चाहते हैं। इसके लिए वो कुछ भी कर जाएंगे। सो वी हैव टू चेंज द टारगेट which triggers the surrender. The regular Iranian soldier doesn't want to die for a ghost. He wants to save his country the way he always did. Stop treating Iran as one solid block. The moment the West backs the nationalist army against the religious guard, the surrender happens. This is what we think. Okay, so how it can be achieved? Empowering an artish intervention cuts the command chain to global proxy networks. For this, the US and Israel will have to halt kinetic strikes and offer a targeted security guarantee exclusively to the Artish generals. And the Artish will have to arrest remaining IRGC people under the mandate of national salvation. And the result would be the establishment of a secular military junta. It would halt the war within 24 hours. If not 24, maybe 48 or 72 hours. Okay? It would oversee proxy networks like Hezbollah, Houthis, etc. This is what we think, that the triggering a secular military coup. Because you should understand, this is the truth, the world doesn't need a democracy in Iran right now. It needs a secular military junta. Now, coming to the second point. Global inflation through the Strait of Hormuz is the primary lever of escalation. Iran's ultimate weapon in a decapitation scenario is not strictly military. It is the threat of systematic global inflation. By threatening the Strait of Hormuz, the conflict immediately becomes a direct threat to the global pocketbook, guaranteeing international escalation. ईरान का ट्रम्प कार्ड क्या है? यही है. Threat factor is fighting over the Strait of Hormuz. It plays directly into the adversary's hand. The ultimate leverage, Iran's only remaining viable weapon is economic terror, specifically crippling global supply chains to force international capitulation. Very many countries have started working on these strategic alternatives so that Strait of Hormuz को एक weapon की तरह यूज नहीं किया जा सके. We must stop being locked in the Gulf. Nations like UAE and Saudi Arabia have already built massive pipelines, like the Habshan Fujairah line, that move oil directly to the Arabian Sea and Red Sea, bypassing the strait entirely. Expanding this network makes the choke point irrelevant, right? Similarly, we have also come up with the IMEC land bridge, the rail alternative, transition from sea to rail. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor creates a land bridge from the UAE through Saudi Arabia and Jordan to Israel. This moves goods and energy via train, rendering naval blockades useless. Okay. Then there is internationalization of the waterway under UNCLOS, UNCLOS, Law of the Sea. The strait is for transit passage. We must advocate for a permanent UN-sanctioned international maritime task force to enforce these laws, ensuring no single nation can claim or close a global natural resource. And finally, the solution is the energy decoupling. The ultimate permanent solution is reducing the value of the weapon by accelerating the shift to renewables and nuclear energy. The world reduces its percentage of dependency on Middle Eastern oil, effectively disarming any country that tries to use it as leverage. The Hormuz Gambit neutralizes energy volatility to secure global neutrality. The mechanism for this: repurpose billions in frozen Iranian assets to fund a global risk insurance dividend for all commercial tankers. What would be the strategic benefit of this? By removing the economic fear of war, Iran's ultimate weapon, global inflation, is neutralized. Just see the benefits. Guaranteeing economic continuity buys the compliance of non-aligned superpowers. Rial stabilization. Resetting the deeply inflated rial which is recently hitting 1.75 million per USD via military government backing and the energy fund. Superpower compliance. China and the European Union prioritize energy cost over Iranian domestic politics. Guaranteeing oil flows ensures they do not enter the conflict. Macroeconomic control. Implementing immediate price controls and resource allocation to prevent domestic collapse, ensuring the continuation of oil exports. So, the solution is not fighting for the strait, it is making the strait unnecessary. Okay? I think you understood what I want to convey. But this is not the strategy which we are thinking. This has already been thought of and people are working on it and it is progressing. What we are going to suggest something which has not been thought of, right? So coming to that. First and foremost thing, we have to look past physical pipelines and move into the realm of deep tech, geodesics and floating extraterritoriality. Right? I'm going to give you a blue ocean strategy for the Strait of Hormuz. The Hormuz sub-seabed maglev. You know what is maglev? Have you heard of magnetic levitation? That is in brief called maglev. It is a transportation technology using powerful electromagnets to lift, guide and propel vehicles such as trains without touching the track. Right? We are going to use maglev as well as vacuum tube logistics. Maglev vein is a futuristic sub-seabed energy superhighway. The maglev vein is a creative conceptual solution that combines two high-tech ideas. The world, what you see, is obsessed with defending the water surface. But the maglev vein takes the Strait of Hormuz out of the equation. By moving energy through a frictionless sub-seabed vacuum network, we don't just protect the energy flow, we hide it. You can't attack what you can't reach, and you can't block what doesn't sail. Right? I hope I am clear. Right? So, the concept is, instead of fighting for the surface of the water, we bypass the water entirely through a sub-seabed automated vacuum tunnel. So we are going to create the horizontal well. Currently, we pump oil into a ship which sails through a choke point. The maglev vein concept treats the entire transit as a single continuous extraction. We built a dual track vacuum tunnel 200 meters under the seabed of the strait. So the mechanism here is, by using Hyperloop maglev technology, autonomous 10,000 barrel capsules are launched through a vacuum tube from the UAE directly to the coast of Oman, that is outside the Gulf. And the invisible factor, because it is buried deep within the tectonic crust of the seabed, it cannot be targeted by naval mines, surface drones or traditional blockades. It is technically underground infrastructure, making it much harder to legally block it under maritime law. The second proposal is the floating energy island, extraterritorial autonomy. If the land is the problem, we move the destination into international waters using a modular floating hub. The concept here is the Gulf Gate mega platform. Instead of tankers entering the Persian Gulf to reach ports like Dammam or Jebel Ali, we bring the ports to the tankers. Mechanism here is construct a massive semi-submersible energy island located 100 miles outside the strait in the deep Arabian Sea. The tether, a massive high-capacity undersea pipeline system, connects the interior Gulf refineries directly to this island. This island operates as a digital sovereign territory. It is not a country, but an internationally governed energy-free zone. Ships from India, Japan or Europe dock at this island in the deep, load up and leave without ever coming within 200 miles of the Iranian coast. Don't you think it is wonderful? And the third out-of-box idea of what we have is the Silicon Silk Road, virtual energy swapping. This is a financial and digital solution that makes the physical oil in the Gulf immobile while the world still gets paid. The concept here is energy entanglement trading. Instead of moving oil from the Middle East to the US and moving US oil to Europe, we use artificial intelligence driven global swaps. The logic behind it, like if India buys 1 million barrels from Saudi Arabia, instead of that oil traveling through Hormuz, the Saudi oil is stored in the ground. Simultaneously, a US producer delivers 1 million barrels to Europe on Saudi Arabia's behalf. So, by doing this, we create a global energy clearinghouse. We stop the physical movement of oil through high-risk zones and instead move credits. The oil stays in the Gulf as a strategic reserve, while the actual energy used by the world is sourced from the nearest safe geography, the location. So this is the way we are creating multi-layered defensive shell. It combines the physical, legal, and virtual strategies into a single visualization, proving that even if Iran attacks one layer, like a legal dispute, the others, the physical hyperloop and virtual swaps, keep the energy flowing. This is the tri-layer shield. So we can summarize all these proposals like this. The idea is the maglev vein, the strategy behind it, sub-seabed vacuum tunnel, and why it is very useful. It is immune to mines and naval blockades. Then the another idea is the energy island. It is deep sea floating hub and it removes the need for tankers to ever enter the Gulf. And the third one, energy swapping, which is digital entanglement, replaces physical transit with global credit delivery. And the third one is the energy swapping, digital entanglement, replaces physical transit with global credit delivery. Okay, so conclusively, I would like to say the 20th century was about defending choke points, but the 21st century is about making them obsolete. We don't need to fight for the surface of the water when we can move energy under the crust or trade it through the cloud. Let us stop protecting the bottleneck and start building the bypass. Confronting the absolute nuclear reality is our third pillar. Nobody is saying this. Iran won't give up its nuclear tech. It is too late now. It is too very late. A third-party nuclear lock is the only deterrent to a preemptive strike. Iran is not going to surrender its nuclear technology. Right? You don't expect that. The move should be to implement joint custodianship, utilizing a strictly non-aligned power as a neutral arbiter to secure facilities during the regime transition. Principled neutrality qualifies India to manage site security during the transition because of non-alignment. Yes, India is one of the most important member, in fact the leader of the non-alignment movement, and at this time only non-alignment would work. After this lecture we are going to talk about the non-alignment movement, how it is relevant even today. विश्व में इतनी सारी इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, इतने सारे ग्रुप्स हैं, इतने सारे कोलैबोरेशंस हैं जो बात करते हैं दो देशों में युद्ध को रोकने की, मगर वो शायद सिर्फ बात करते हैं, वो सिर्फ पेपर पर दिखावा करते हैं, क्योंकि जहाँ पर भी पूरे विश्व में युद्ध हो रहे हैं कहीं पर भी इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के कारण युद्ध नहीं रुके हैं, चाहे वो यूनाइटेड नेशंस हो, यूरोपियन यूनियन हो या नेटो। तो क्यों ना एक बार नॉन अलाइंड मूवमेंट फोरम को ये जिम्मेदारी सौंपी जाए। The only organization which can help here is the NAM, and who is the leader of the NAM? India. That is why I am saying Israel trusts India, assures Western and Israeli defense establishments that a lose-nuke scenario is impossible under Indian Navy or Strategic Forces watch. That is the kind of trust India has. Iran respects India, and Indian presence is not viewed as a Western puppet, occupation, or a Russian satellite takeover. Believe you me, Iran also equally regards India. So that is why India has to be chosen. Averting global conflict requires embracing a real politic framework driven by military-led stabilization. This is neo-geopolitics to stop the war in 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours. The international community must abandon the dream of an immediate Iranian democracy. The stabilization of the region requires a secular military junta, a force that prioritizes national borders and stability over religious ideology. So conclusively, once again, please see why I am saying so. Realpolitik stabilization prevents the catastrophic collapse guaranteed by idealism. Idealism chasing a new nuclear deal or democratic revolution. It would lead to fractional civil war, Syrianization, global depression, World War III. While the solution given by us, the neo-geopolitics, backing a secular military junta and third-party custodianship under the leadership of India, 24 or 48 or 72 hour ceasefire, defanged proxies, energy stability, contained nuclear threat. This is how it can work. What do you think? Will this strategy work? Will it be able to stop the World War III 2026? Think over. Until we meet in the next session. Jai Hind. Good day.